Mm, mm, mm. Let's go. I came prepared to stoke the flames of Ederson versus Ortega. But that was when we were one win out of 12 matches. That was the old Crunk. You are now looking at 2 matches unbeaten Crunk. 1 win streak Crunk. I'm here for the positive vibes, which means let's just get directly into the cold open question. Tarik, I've missed you. I missed my other show bros. I was very much looking forward to seeing them, but tis the season where we're very scattered.
Everyone is spending time with family. Sometimes that's out of town from where you typically might reside. So traveling, just having a good time. But yeah, what's up? We'll do it just me and you.
Yeah. How has your first off, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa.
Thank you.
Yeah. How is you as the patriarch? You got a nice little family of your own. I'm sure it was nice having your girls back. How's your holidays been?
Yeah, it's always great to be with family, both those that live in the same house as me, but then also extended family, both on my side, the wife's side here in Fort Wayne. So got to see a lot of folks, and so that's always to me that's the best part of any holiday, is just spending time with family and the people that you love. So really good time. We've had one, two, three. Some people do like multiple, like you got to go to multiple Thanksgivings or multiple Christmases or whatever. We don't do that, but like over 3 different days. I think we've had at least 3 different little family get-togethers during this festive season, probably in the last week and a half. So it's been great. Like you said, my daughter's home from school, made it in safely, and just trying to enjoy every moment with her because, she'll be back on campus here next week. She goes back to third. Classes don't start till the 13th. She's got to be back early, but so just trying to your point, just trying to enjoy every minute with all the folks that you can, because you never know. The unfortunate part is you never know when it'll be your last time to be able to spend time with folks. So trying to take advantage of it. How about you, man? How was yours?
For people who normally watch our podcast, this background's a little different than normal. I am with my family down in Arkansas in my mom's house. Actually, last year's Christmas show, I recorded in her bedroom, so it was an even more gaudy backdrop. And so it's been fun, man. It's been needed. The weather was not great actually when I got here it was like 60 degrees. I got here Thursday. It was like really nice, and then it was kind of off and on, and yesterday it rained the entire day. But today it was 65 degrees. It is currently 35 degrees back home. So like having sun hit me, the sun actually feel warm. Like, bruh, I was walking around without a jacket. Oh my gosh, I haven't felt this literally in months. So it was, when I say that part was needed, it was amazing.
I think we're getting all that rain today because it's been raining literally nonstop all day long.
Yeah.
Which I don't prefer it, but I take the rain over the snow, especially with my kid having to get back on the highway here in a couple of days. Just hold off. Ideally, it's nice and dry when she goes back to campus. It's one of those things where you can't control everything, and 3 hours on the highway is too many hours for folks to do stupid stuff around her. So
facts.
So yeah.
Get home safely, and then just spending time with my nieces. Like one's 10. Oh, she just turned 11, and one just turned 3. So it's especially with toddlers, the young ones. The more you see them, they can do more things, and it's just wild. The last time she had like a few words that she would say. They were all very worried because she wasn't much of a talker. But if you talk to her, she would like respond and do all the things that you needed. She just wasn't talking. And now she's she's a talker. She's great, and she's just a little love bug. And then
I'm
my oldest niece.
smiling because you said they were worried because she wasn't much of a talker, and I'm sitting here like, baby Crunk niece is not a talker. That seems crazy. Anybody related to Crunk's got to be like completely outgoing, all the talking, you know, whatever. So they were like, wait a minute, hold on. No, I'm just kidding.
And I was trying to tell him, I was like, hey, she's just being patient. Obviously, she knows what's going on. She's very perceptive. She's just like, y'all don't deserve to get my words quite yet. And so it's great. Now she's all chatty. It's just like, I love it. I'll tell her I love you like 25 times. So she says it back 25 times, especially with me being so far away. It's like, I need a whole like 3-4 months worth of loves. So I mean, we do like the weekly video chats and things like that, but it definitely does not hit the same. Just, it's been so great. And then City won today, which we'll get to, but I was able to check out a couple of art museums here in Arkansas. Like it's always interesting because like Georgia, they have a bunch of art museums that come free admission. The state pays for. Arkansas as well. They have a few amazing art museums that are free to go to, and obviously you donate if you feel fully compelled. And the Arkansas Museum of Fine Arts had this like giant renovation over the last year, and when I was here last year I wasn't able to check it out, so it was very nice being able to do that now and just soak in all the art. They added like a restaurant, there's a random coffee shop in there, it's tied to an art school as well. It was above and beyond. I was not expecting it, and just truly some beautiful stuff. And then 5 minutes away is basically the majority of their craft beers breweries are all in this like 1.5 mile radius. So I just kind of bounced around, drinking some beer for a little bit after, just on the patio, soaking in the sun. Oh my gosh. And gonna hit the road 8 a.m. tomorrow to drive back to 35 degrees. So excited.
Bet you're questioning that in a decision every moment.
Oh man,
Do I really want to go back?
Do I really? And if I had my cat with me, I might not have. But the cat's still back there. A lot of my clothes and stuff as well. But so I'll go back. But it's been really nice. And then we took we took last weekend off. It was legitimately so over talking about us losing. It was the holiday season. I just felt like we needed to just relax, or at least maybe I needed to relax. I don't need to put my ideas onto y'all. Maybe I'm pretty sure y'all were probably ready to record, and I was just like, nah, bro, we ain't doing this. Let's relax. Let's enjoy ourselves and come back renewed, refreshed, and inspired. And then at least it worked for me. No, I'm very much looking forward to what we got going on in 2025. Every year I feel like we've tried to step our game up, and 2025 is no different, baby. FanFest is back better than ever. They now have threads, so like you can have conversations, very much like Twitter, like Blue Sky in there now. They have games and quizzes and raffles, so we will be giving away a few things coming up very soon. Actually, right now, during the festive fixtures, FanFest is going to fly whoever is the top of the leaderboard to whatever club they support. So if it's someone from City wins, then they can go to Manchester. If they have a really good PSG contingency on FanFest, if someone from PSG wins, then they get a free match to go to Paris. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm in first right now.
So while we are here,
yes,
tell the listeners, what do they need to do?
I will put the link to FanFest in the show notes, in the show description. All you have to do is hit that link, and registration is as simple as you give them your phone number, your name, email, and that's it. They don't really ask for much more. This FanFest is still a work in progress, which I love that. But from the previous version, it's a significant step forward, and I just love the fact that it's built to be a one-place community. So what we're going to be doing is we used to do the lit stream there. I actually very much enjoy. We moved the lit stream out of FanFest, but with the new FanFest, I knew I needed to change things up. So today was the first day of my post-match reaction show. I'm going to be adding that to FanFest. So at the end of every city men and women match, obviously if I'm not working, but I try to have 99.99 matches off. So 15 to 30 minutes after each match, I will be hopping on FanFest to talk about the lineup, player ratings, what I loved and what I hated about the match. I have a new show coming up called Judge Crunk, where I am bringing on most dope people to litigate very important football conversations. And just overall, I think we're going to start doing more watch-alongs. That will be on FanFest. We're just going to try to do more things that will build the community in conversation. I'm just really looking forward to doing that. And then Patreon, I am going to take our breaking bread, our chopping it up, and the best way for a podcast to grow and for you, the listeners, to help a podcast grow is by financially supporting it. So for the $6 tier, you'll be able to get our amazing shows that we were offering for free there, and there will be much more other perks that will be announced very shortly. And just overall, we were going to try to be more purposeful with how we move and what we do, while also adding to our repertoire. So I'm just really excited for all of those things. Yeah, I've just basically been spending the last 2 weeks I've been putting it into action. The last month and a half, it's been a lot of like stewing and conversations and picking a lot of brilliant people's brains. So it's been fun. You always have to grow, and I always put so much pressure on ourselves. We haven't even hit 3 years, and I'm just like, what are we doing? And we got people like Yogi at Can I Kick It, who's been doing it at like 7-8 years. Shea Butter and Diaspora, who've been at it for 3, 4, 5 years. Like we have these people that have been at it for so much longer, and they go at it at their own paces, and they have their own ways that they connect with people, and they're still growing. But
it's just so easy to be the finished article already, right?
Yeah,
exactly. There's still plenty of room to grow, and as like you said, just you want it to happen overnight. That's never going to be the case, and so there's a lot of work that goes in that people see with all the shows and all the other stuff. But then there's a lot of the stuff that happens behind the scenes that people don't see, and quite honestly, the vast majority of that is falling on your shoulders. And so there's been a lot of work, and again, trying to continue to see that mature and develop and grow as we build the podcast, the shows, all the stuff, all the things. So yeah, it's exciting times, man.
Yeah, I wouldn't want it any other way. But shoot, let's get in this match. Because again, we have positives, at least with Everton, not fully negative. And I had planned to have clips ready and all this other stuff, but then my nieces got around, and I was like, "Get your asses over here!" So,
wait, can you cuss around the kids, man? Come on now, be a better uncle.
Hey, the door's closed.
Oh, okay.
They can't hear me now.
I thought you meant like when they were around. I was gonna be like, "Oh man, come on, I gotta."
I do my best, but thanks to football, I do like the word like shite.
So you do the little English pronunciation. Nobody knows what it is. It's kind of like Superman. With just put some glasses on Clark Kent, and no one knows who he is. You exactly. Just add an E on the end of the word, and all of a sudden it's like, what? That doesn't sound like anything.
Exactly. My oldest dude, she kind of like paused for a moment, but then went back to doing what she's doing, and I was like, all right, it worked.
I've never heard that one before.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, man. Oh man. Okay. let's just get into it. Welcome to episode 121. Huh? 121. Oh, look at these numbers. Oh, let's go. We get counted up of shades of blue. Words
famous.
We are the most comprehensive podcast about Manchester City, covering both the men's and women's game, spanning both sides of the Mason-Dixon line. We making art over here, capitalize the A. I'm CrunkChocolate. I'm here with the brother Tarik. We have just talked about how we're doing, how we've been, so we can keep it going. And before anything else, what I need you to do right now, if you're watching on YouTube, and this is your first time here, hi, welcome. I hope you're enjoying yourself. Subscribe. If you've been here before, your first time, this part goes for all of you. Like the show, leave a comment, tag us in social media that you're watching. That'd be real crazy. You know, I'd love that. Just some way, somehow, show some love that you're watching. And if you're listening to an audio podcast version, shout out to you. Rate, review, 5 stars or what's the point? Leave a comment, say some nice things. We appreciate it. I see the ratings, the numbers are growing. It's getting there. Y'all are rating, so I appreciate that. Say some nice words, even if good podcasts. I'm okay with that. I'm great with that, you know, because technically the less words you put, the more I can embellish with, you know. I can be like, you know, good podcast, you know. Have they said any other podcasts are good? I don't know. Maybe we're the best podcast ever according to them. I don't know. But if you, so just say anything. All right. Give me a, I was going to say some wild stuff. So I backed off. We're only 17 minutes in. Let me get some time. In today's episode, we have 2 games to cover. And neither of them were losses. I'm so giddy. I know TikTok is full of haters, but I did a stupid TikTok. I was so inspired. That's part of what I want to do in 2025. It's embrace the things that I feel is above me as a creative, as an artist. I feel like there are hoops that we shouldn't have to jump through. But unfortunately, that's the fucking game. Jump through these hoops. And one of them is just trying to figure out how I want to do it. So I spent like 10 minutes trying to do a 15-second TikTok. Shit's so stressful, bro. And
I'm not on TikTok. I'm from, you know, I guess at the highest level I understand what it is, but so what were you trying to do in this 15? Is it like a dance or something?
It is. It's
okay.
Like it's a Hotel Transylvania dance. It's very silly, and I was just doing it in celebration. I just put the city score on top of it and a W, and I did the dance, and I was super happy. And naturally, someone was in there hating, being like, "Why are you celebrating? They just beat Leicester." It's like you can only beat who's in front of you.
Yeah.
It's like what do you? And technically, that's just the hate that Man City fans. Whenever I make a post on TikTok, it's either someone hating because they're like, "Oh, of course you're an American City fan." And it's actually hilarious because all the insults I get on TikTok, it's like all of the OG insults we used to get on Twitter when we first started. So it's all just very easily manageable. Like nobody on TikTok is original. Nobody on TikTok actually makes like good insults. At least early on, there were some people who like would make some insults and I'd be like, hot. Like these guys, I'm just like, bro, you're dumb. Block and keep it moving. So it's been nice. No losses. Manchester City's draw to Everton, a frustrating Sean Dyche TED Talk on how to disrupt, perturb, and vex. And then following that was Pep Guardiola's 500th match as Manchester City manager that ended in a 2-0 clean sheet victory against Leicester City. After talking about the games played, we will look at Man City versus West Ham. It's really wild that for the next 2 weeks, we only have 2 matches. Naturally, we'll get back into the chaos, but this is what Pep was talking about. When people will get healthy, we will get there. We just need time to practice, time to train. This is it. This is the 3-4 weeks that he was talking about, and I'll see if Like, I'm totally on the horse, except for Pep did say, hey, we're not winning the Premier League. I don't know if that was like a challenge. I don't know if that was him like trying to anger his teammates.
I think there's a certain amount of acceptance and, there's no pressure. If we say we're not going to win it all at this point, then you go into every game being free. It's not a case, oh, if we lose a game, well, there goes the league. We've already acknowledged that the league is gone. So now we're just playing free and trying to win what we can. Maybe we take points off everybody else or whatever, right? So I think there's a certain amount of, I think there is a piece of it truly is gone. Yeah. But I think most of it is just take the pressure off. Let's just be free and play, because I think a lot of the issues have been confidence, pressure, those types of things. So if we can get that off the players, because again, some of these players maybe weren't expected to play as many minutes as they've been playing this season so far because of injuries or whatever. And so people have been trying to do maybe more than what they should be trying to do, what they can do. And so let's just get back to just, hey, just go out there, have fun. But don't worry about the pressure of trying to win a league.
I love that.
Games. Let's just win games.
Yeah, no, that's an amazing point, because it is tough knowing that you're on the team who won the treble, who has won a quadruple, who has won four titles in a row. Like, that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah. And the expectation is titles. The expectation is trophies. And that's a lot to carry for some of these younger players who maybe haven't played that level of, or that role on a title winning team just yet, or people who have been title contenders for years in a row, who have played 50, 60 matches every single year, and now it's like at some point that catches up to you. So you know what? Hey, maybe we don't win it this year, and then we get back into it. We give ourselves this break and we keep going.
Yeah, and hopefully that is the incentive needed to make the moves. And finally, you heard it in the 4 in a row, which it's officially on YouTube for people who weren't able to watch the 4 in a row doc that was on City Plus behind the paywall. It is now on YouTube for people to watch. So yeah, and then naturally we'll end the episode with shock, awe, and applause, where we choose to throw roses or tomatoes at a player, manager, or club. Let's get into it. All right, PL versus Everton. Ortega, Lewis, Akanji, Ake, Guardiola, Kova, Foden, Silva, Savio, Doku, and then Haaland up top. I was very excited to see Sabinho and Doku.
Yeah, that combination.
And I saw seeing Ake stress me out again. It was one of those things where I was thankful that Pep in the pre-match presser, he confirmed that he told Ake, let me know when you want to come off when you're tired. Basically, when you have ran your limit, let me know, because that's how you hurt yourself, which is an adjustment. That is growth. That is, and I appreciate that. So very much it happened today. It happened today as well, where he's not quite, I actually don't think he's ever going to be 90 minutes fit again. And I don't think we need him to be that. If he can come on and be, we'll get to it, but he's legitimately a 7.5 every match. And we need players like that. And he's just calm and quiet. The way that he just finds every header, any cross, like he gets his head to the ball. You just kind of need players like that who are just quietly confident. Like, Nathan Ake, and he's someone, I know there's like a list that we could potentially lose a lot of players, but I don't think we can lose Ake or Kanji. Like, will they be the main stars like they are this season and the previous ones next year? Probably not. But they will be incredibly important.
I think what I've heard in, the different shows that I've been a part of or whatever shows that I've watched or listened to, um, is I think people are choosing between who do we keep, Ake or Stones, because they're both very injury ridden. So you can't have both because there's too many times where neither are available. If you only had one and then you replace the other with someone that's a little bit more reliable, um, then so be it. I think both of them are homegrown, um, so it's just a matter of, okay, at this point in their careers, which of those two do you want to keep, or would you say we have to keep a hold of and let the other one go, because maybe trying to keep both of them doesn't work.
Well, I mean, do you think we should keep Stones or Ake? Let's get to it.
So I think that
No.
you have heard me say, our listeners who have been around for a long time have heard me say that I think that Stones on his day, fully healthy, fully on top of his game, is probably our best defender all around. Maybe he doesn't get as the goals like a Gavardio, but he's winning headers. He's stepping into midfield. He's clearing balls off the line. He is an amazing, amazing, amazing defender, who I think probably offers us more than Ake. That being said, I think Ake is a little bit more reliable, and maybe just a tad bit better pure defender. And so if I had to choose at this point, and I was, because we're doing a mass clear out, let's say I'm cheeky and I'm doing a mass clear out and I'm going to bring in new players and I need to get rid of one of those two, I probably get rid of Stones at this point and I keep Ake.
And I think that's kind of what it is. I agree with you. What John Stones offers overall is better than Ake, but
he's never
stresses
available.
me out.
And that's
it stresses me out.
And it sucks to say that because, and I don't like to, I do it, unfortunately, make everything about me or my life or my kids or whatever, right? Because I try to make it relatable. And I've got a kid who plays basketball who just can't stay healthy right now. And do I think she can contribute to her team? Sure. But I also recognize that if I'm a coach, I need you to be available. And so I see that parallel between Stones, Ake, and, people in our squad. It's like, hey, you're great, but I can't count on you. And that it sucks because I see my kid. I know how much effort she's putting into trying to be healthy. I'm sure Stones is doing the same, but the reality is his body just isn't cooperating. And so you just, like, at some point you had to make the decision. Can I do what I know what I want to do, but can I do it physically? Can I do it? Will my body allow me? And if not, okay, what's next? And I think Stones, maybe for other teams, whatever, but we're in a position where we can't keep carrying people who aren't available. We need, because again, we don't have a large squad. So, if we're going to add, say, 2 extra bodies to our squad and have, instead of 23, have 25 to 26 players okay, great. Then, I'm talking senior professionals, not, academy players. If we're going to do that, then fine, keep them both. But if we're not, which, Pep has not proven that he's going to keep a larger squad, then I think you gotta, at some point we're going to say it's time to go, unfortunately. And I think that time may be coming up.
Yeah. Pep, the longest, was like, no, we just need our players back. We just need our players back. We just need our players back. But last week he was, hey, maybe I do need 26, 28, 30 players. Maybe I do need some more players, but that's on the board to bring the players in. But then again, after today, he was like, hey, just give me my players back and I'm good. And it's just like, God damn it, Pep. God damn it, Pep. What is it? Like, give us these more players.
But the reality is those players aren't coming back. They're not. Rodri's not coming back. Not this season. Stones, he'll be back days here, weeks there, but
he's going to be returning with Oscar Bob.
Yeah, consistently isn't available. Oscar Bob is probably out for another month, right? It's just those players aren't going to be consistently available, and you got to make changes. And I think as a team, we have been reluctant to move on people who have been vital to our success throughout the treble and into that fourth trophy in a row. But at some point, got to move them on. I'm looking at this soundboard on my iPad and it's like, gotta go. I got that sound from way back or like first season. I don't know. And it's gotta go. Hey, I love you. Gotta go.
Like hacks. And back to the Everton match. What was most frustrating about this match was like Vardiol felt more of a striker than Haaland did in the match. Especially in the first 10 minutes. He had the header off the post, like almost immediately scored for us. Then Savio was slicing and dicing, and he did a shot. But Vardiol came flying in and almost timed it well enough to nick it past the keeper. It didn't happen. But if you look at stats, Haaland and Vardiol side to side in this match against Everton, understanding, they're very similar. If you look at XG plus XA for Vardiol, it was 0.73 and 10 touches in the opposition box, where Haaland, if you do XG and XA, it was 0.87 with 13 touches in the opposition box. It really wasn't much difference. And it's not great that our left back is creating as many opportunities, having just as much touches in our box than our legitimately $100 million a week keeper, basically, depending on if he gets the right bonuses and etc.
Yeah, but so I definitely understand what the stats are saying. We choose to play more through the wings than through the middle a lot of times. Teams force us out wide, especially if we're not creating from out there. So, or consistently creating from out there. So I get it. It's definitely, I mean, you prefer to have Haaland with many, many more touches in the box. Some of that is on him. A lot of that is on the rest of the team to get him the ball in those places. But unfortunately, we haven't proven that we can do that just yet. So, we keep working at it.
Yeah, that's fair. Bernardo with the captaincy, and he brought the energy this match. The entire match, he did the classic Bernardo where he ran. He got us the first goal of the match. Yes, it was deflected. I don't care about that. It was on target. It would have been in. Maybe it would have been blocked, and the deflection kind of threw him off a little bit. I don't know. There's no point to even arguing what happened, because what happened was Bernardo Silva got a goal, baby. And I was optimistic, but expecting what eventually happened 12 minutes later. But let's just focus on this goal. How were you feeling once Bernardo got that goal?
I guess to a certain extent, relief, because again, what our record or results had been up until that point, it's Everton. You feel like, okay, they're trying to just keep us off a 0-0 draw for them is a success, is a win. So I feel like that's kind of what they're playing for. So to get an early goal is like, yes, this is wonderful. This is exactly what we needed. And typically when we get an early goal, it kind of opens the floodgates, and we get a second, we get a third. So, it's one of those things where at this point in the season and at this point in our results, I don't care how the ball goes in, just put the ball in the back of the net. And it happened to go in this time. And so you won't see me complaining about it in any way, shape, or form. I'll take it every time.
Yeah. And then Ndaye, which shout out to Toffee Bluecast. Sharpie and I. No, sorry. G Certified and I. We were on Toffee Bluecast. Shout out to them. And we kind of talked about things. And that was just a very nice conversation. Always good to hear from G Certified. It was, they were speaking very highly of Ndaye. Like they knew he was going to score, and just how confident they were about him, it worried me. And
they knew he was going to score because he's a pacey winger and we get ran at and we give up goals, or was there something else that they saw that made him?
Well, and he's like their most effective goal scorer, basically. There's not really many people. It's Ndaye, and then it's all their defenders. They basically score from set pieces. So it was like, if there's anybody who is going to score for us, we would like for it to be DCL or Broha or these other people, but we don't think it's going to be that guy. We think it's going to be Ndaye, yes, because he has that pace on the wing. And the goal that he scored, again, what made me happy about that goal was
made you happy about which goal?
The Ndaye goal. Like, let me go though, because I know it doesn't.
I'm gonna let you land. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm just make sure I heard you right.
I mean, I wasn't like happy about the goal being scored, but I was happy that it was a goal that he had to take the cross in perfectly and had to strike it beautifully. It was one of those. There was once upon a time that the only way you could score against City is if you did everything perfectly. Since October 26th, that was our last major win, other than the one random win against, I don't remember who it was. But people were just getting tap-ins. They were just running down the pitch and tapping it in. This was, yes, it was Vardiol taking his time to close down. Akanji had a bad deflection, and Rico, for some reason, was helping Akanji cover that defender instead of his own defender that was far post. That's what really frustrated me. But there were a lot of other mistakes, so you really couldn't be too hard on Rico, but he definitely messed up as well. It was just like a chain reaction of people not being where they should be and doing what they should. But that's also kind of the exact problem that we have had over the last month and a half, 2 months. It was, let's just say this. Everton, they aren't great when it comes to scoring. They drew Chelsea and Arsenal 0-0. It was now 1-1. Did you think the game was going to end like that? Or did you feel like, oh no, Everton could potentially steal this game?
You mean after they got the tie?
Yeah, after they tied it up, yes.
I guess, so to be honest, I wasn't so much afraid of Everton, because I actually felt like that goal that they scored was, to your point, it had to be like everything just had to break really perfectly for that goal to go in. And if that play happens, say 10 times, they maybe score on it 2, maybe 3 at most. So I didn't think that they had a whole lot left, or that they were, again, it's hit us on the counter. But I didn't think we were playing bad at all. I thought we were doing quite well, actually. So I wasn't necessarily concerned about them beating us, although it's when you've had that run of results, you're always looking for when's that next shoe going to drop, when's someone going to make a stupid mistake, and not because they've played better than us, but because we put ourselves in bad situations, and bad things happen. So if anything, it was more of let's just not do something dumb. And I thought that we could get another goal, but um, we'll talk about it, I guess.
Oh my God, Savio did such a great job earning the penalty. Oh my gosh, it was just so fun. Actually, what was most frustrating before all that, and what led to the Everton's goal, was how we got the goal was putting Doku and Savio as wide as possible, and you saw how much space Foden had to run into, how much space when Haaland received the ball he had to maneuver. It was beautiful. And for some reason, the moment we scored, all of a sudden Doku's coming inside, Vardiol's making making overlaps. He's inside, which gives him significantly less space. It helps now the midfield help corral him. He wasn't as successful in the rest of the first half until he was eventually taken off, and it frustrated me because it almost made him look ineffective, and that's not who he is. He's incredibly dangerous. He's amazing, and we say it all the time. He isn't given the empathy that Savio gets, and people were starting to kind of turn on Savio these last couple of days, last couple of matches.
I've actually heard quite a bit of Savio. I won't say hate. Well, maybe that's the right word.
Okay.
A lot of quite a bit of it, unfortunately.
Okay.
And Doku and Savio both. So, but that doesn't negate your point that he's getting a lot of hate, and sometimes it's not being put in a position to really be able to thrive. We're going to talk about today's game and what we saw, but I think there's a potential just swapping him and Savio on the wings, putting them on their strong foot. As opposed to playing the inverted winger. I think we need to look at something. I think we need to look at that. It showed something today that I think has some potential, because again, I think what people get frustrated with is the lack of GNA, right? Goals and assists.
Mm.
If you're crossing with your weak foot, that's going to impact your assists. Or if you have to turn in to play that ball with your strong foot, that's an extra step. That's an extra delay. That was the issue we had. That was the issue that I had, not everybody, but I had with Riyad Mahrez. He was so left-footed playing on that right wing that he had to always turn inside, and it made him predictable. It's the same thing you see with Jack Grealish on the left side. It's always coming inside on his right foot because we can't really go down the wing on his left and get to the byline, put a cross in, that kind of thing that you would expect from a typical old school winger, right? We go with the inverted, and we always are playing people on their weaker foot. And I would just love, and again, I get it, because then when they cut in, they're shooting. It's easier for them to take that shot on that cut in. It's kind of the whole. Everyone saw what was my guy from the Netherlands, played for Bayern.
Robin.
Yeah, Arjen Robben. Yeah.
Yeah.
So everyone's seen him, and okay, we know he's going to do. He's going to cut in, and you just can't stop it. So everybody's doing the same thing, and we just, so I think there's something to be said there, but I've jumped quite a bit ahead. Let's get back to this
the penalty.
Yeah. So in the moment, what were you thinking after we get the penalty, and kind of how it developed? What did you think?
I'm going to be honest. I thought about you because Jordan Pickford, whoever it was, Haaland was standing there with the ball a very long time. And early on in our pod, when
Yes.
Holland had his little problems about that, you
Yes.
definitely brought that up, and that does seem to be the way to shake him, is make him wait. He gets impatient, and
It's too much time to think.
he
He's
used to,
instinctive. He's
yeah,
instinctive.
and he used to just smash it in the bottom right corner. It was like, it's going there, but I'm gonna hit it so hard you can never stop it. And for some reason, he tried to hit it left, and it wasn't all the way left. And what pisses me off more, because now you got Everton people, and Pickford was like making faces and stuff. So like, I even shared the photo, but it was just like, bro, you got shook by Tiny Arms McGee, who was just sitting there being silly, making faces. And you saw it. I'm sure you saw it. Like, the crowd deflated. His players deflated. It is one of
He
those.
deflated. It was a, you could see, all the confidence just drain out of his body, and he was just like, he couldn't believe that he had not scored that.
Mhm.
I think any striker in that scenario, you bank on yourself to score that, and he didn't, and I think it shook him quite a bit. I think so. In that moment, I always want the striker to take it, but I didn't want him to take it in that moment. And that's really not, and no, there's no way for anyone to know this because there's no one around at the moment. But I genuinely wanted Savio to take it because I think goals, or just seeing the ball get in the back of the net, it builds confidence for players. And I've always wanted that for our strikers because I felt like they're the ones that need that confidence in front of goal. But I really wanted Savio, who won the penalty. I wanted him to take it. Now, again, he may be a horrific penalty taker, and so maybe that's never going to happen. But why I wanted him to take it was because I feel like he has been doing really good things, except for that final ball, right? It's just a fraction of an inch here, this, that, and the other. It's like he can do everything really well, gets in good positions, but just that last goal, the ball just doesn't go in. And so I felt in that moment, it would be really good for him to give him the ball, for Holland to give the ball to Savio, let him take it, hopefully score it, because I felt like when he gets his first goal, it is going to unlock him as a player and what he provides to this team. And so I really, really, really wanted. I didn't think it would happen, but I was hoping it would for some reason. Just give him the ball, let him have a chance to take that penalty there.
Yeah, I agree with you, because understandably, because he's played 20 some games and hadn't scored yet. He was becoming pretty selfish, honestly. Like, there were
Maybe that's the way to look at it. I don't see it that way, but yeah, okay.
I know selfish is a tough word, and I very much liken it to when Holland first arrived and we were getting that feel for being like, yo, hit that pass to Holland right there. And instead he would kind of take it on and try to make the shot of his own. And maybe it's just, it's not a maybe, because they're not training. They're not the most familiar with each other and things like that. And also he wants to score. He wants to prove himself why he has been brought to City. I know that dude is a killer. We see it. And he's also been frustrated. He's had to make adjustments to the physicality and all these other things. It's just, that's why I just say it's selfish, because there have been multiple times where I'm like, bro, the pass is right there. And instead he's taking the shots, and not only is he taking the shots, he's skying them. He's like, it's not even like on goal. They're just energy, momentum killing shots. And when your team is struggling, you kind of have to be very mindful of that. And that's why I use the term selfish. But I understand where people will say that's harsh.
No, I mean, that's just a different, way of looking at it. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure, I don't recall any right off the top of my head. I'm sure there are moments where you're like, because I vividly remember yelling at Phil, pass the ball. Holland's right
Yes.
there. Pass the ball.
Yes.
I don't have strong memories of, oh, in this game he should have done this, that, and the other,
Yeah.
but I'm sure it happens because it happens to everybody. But I feel like, and again, I don't know that I would say he's a prolific goal scorer. I think last year for Girona, he played 41 matches. Looks like he got 11 goals. I don't know how many assists he got. I had to go to another site to look that up. But like I said, I think he definitely has the potential to provide more than what we saw or what we've seen thus far. And I just think he just needs a little bit to get over the line, and then it'll start to work
Yes.
for him once he sees that first one go in. So that's why I wanted him to take it, but that didn't happen. We know we miss. Maybe it's unfair to call it a miss. Maybe we should say it was saved because that gives
Yeah.
credit
Give
to the
football
keeper.
credit. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was disappointing because at that moment before the shot, I'm like, okay, this is the goal we need to solidify our win. We break this run of games and we get our win. And I was expecting us to beat Everton, quite honestly. No shade to Everton, but I expected us to beat them. And so this was the opportunity to take the lead. We hold on, game over. We walk out of there all 3 points. Seeing that be saved sucked. It sucked even more for me because before he took it, I wanted him to change it up. I didn't feel confident for whatever reason. I wanted someone else to take it. I wanted Savio to take it. So then when he doesn't score it, it's like,
That's all I
oh, that
wanted.
sucks. Yeah,
Mhm.
I didn't know why, but I just knew I wanted someone else to take that in that moment.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was disappointing. And to not get all 3 points in that match, definitely disappointing. But again, you don't lose, so that's a start. But again, if I'm a City player, I walk out of there disappointed because I
Yeah.
believe we should have had 3 points.
Yeah. Pep, he was asked, "Hey, your body language was a little stressed," and he was just like, "No, I wasn't. It was fine. It was great."
Better him than me because I'm always stressed watching our
No,
matches nowadays,
he
and I'm not used to that.
like he would no. Man's looked stressed.
Yeah.
He looked stressed,
Yeah.
but you
It's
can't
like, say
admit it.
what you want,
I get
Pep,
it.
but we watch you. We seen
Uh-huh.
you.
And he was defiant about it too. Like, and that's what it is. It's like when you argue so hard, you're like, oh nah, he was stressed. He's arguing too hard. Oh man. Okay, well let's get to this the win, baby. Leicester City beat down some foxes. We were able to see Jamie Vardy. And still to this day, I know he is old man Vardy, but he's still the idea of him scares the hell out of me. And we'll get to the match. If he was the prime Vardy, he would have had a first half hat trick. He had many opportunities, and he was just offside after offside. Oh my god, Ortega. Yeah. Oh, and that's and I had wrote about the whole Ederson versus Ortega thing against Everton, and then it was called offside, but then he almost gave away that penalty by tackling Vardy, and I was like, there we go. Like, and if you look at advanced stats, I'm just saying Ortega is not better than Ederson. And it's just, and that's the thing that frustrates me. It's like, yeah, sure, he'll stop the occasional ball, but it's just, he's not Ederson. But also, right now, Ederson isn't Ederson. We had, for Leicester City, Ortega, Lewis, Akanji, Ake, Florial, Kova, Silva, KDB, Foden, Savia, and Holland up top. Ake's back. KDB's back. I'm not going to lie. The last few times I've seen KDB, though, he really didn't inspire me. He seems like, I know I say all the time that he also is a robot, a cyborg that needs to make these passes to recalibrate. But even in the passes that he's making and stuff like, they would be like just off. And a lot of the passes and crosses that he's been doing this year, they're just like so off, and it directly feeds into counters. It worried me. And he obviously doesn't have the intensity to press and to track back. And a team like Leicester, who will want to catch you on the counter, I was a little scared. What were your thoughts on that?
So just looking at the roster, or the lineup, I should say it that way. I hear you about KDB because he hasn't been great, or he hasn't been available. So you never know what you're going to get from him. And that's no shade to him because he's probably the best player to ever don this jersey. But I guess seeing him, it was okay. Pep must, either he's feeling good, or Pep has decided, you know what, I've got a plan. Because I don't know, when he's not playing, is it just strictly health issues, fitness issues, or is it something more? Because it feels at times like it's maybe something more. And so seeing him in the lineup says, okay, either he's healthy, which is great, or Pep is like, okay, I can't keep him out of the lineup. He's got to be playing. And I'm okay either way, because no one creates for Haaland like De Bruyne does. And like Savio is starting to. I think Savio's played a couple nice balls into. He's willing to play those balls. He's more of a creator. So I'm like, okay, maybe we can get some goals because we've got two creative people on the pitch that are going to try to create for Haaland. Other people may be creative, but for whatever reason, they just don't seem to be playing those same passes for Haaland. And so it becomes frustrating. So from that standpoint, I'm good. Again, I think Ederson is hurt, so that's why we're not seeing him. But in my mind, again, maybe he's not, maybe he is. We don't really know. I can only go off of what FOTMOB, right? Illness, doubtful. So I'm taking it at face value, but maybe that's not really. Maybe I shouldn't, but I'm going to.
So what I'll say quickly about Ederson, I would have had the clip. Basically, Pep was like, I'm just gonna paraphrase.
Sure.
He's injured, but he's not injured. I don't think he's injured, but he doesn't feel comfortable. You think whatever you want with it.
That's what Pep said.
Basically.
Effectively. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, that's tough. And Pep, for right or wrong, doesn't really do that very often.
Yeah.
Because there's like KDB's not played quite a few games. Phil Foden didn't play quite a few games, and we're all like, are they hurt or what's really going on? Because it doesn't feel like they should still be hurt at this point. So for him to actually say that, or to insinuate, or to whatever, that I don't know, you can call it on your own, says that there's something else going on, or potentially something else going on. And hey, January 1 is right around the corner. Maybe we see him on his way out. I at this point, I just say I'd rather just
honestly, I'm with you though. I'm like,
be done with it, because if you want to be gone, which we know he did, and if it brings your professionalism into question, because again, because we know Bernardo has wanted to go in times past. He wasn't able to find a suitable offer or suitable suitor that was coming in for him. And so it's like, nope, gotta stay. Once that determination is made, he's always been, okay, I'm here. I give you 100%. You don't really question it. We may not like where he's being played, but we know he's always going to give us effort.
Mhm.
If we have to question that about Ederson, and again, I'm not saying that we do, but if we do, then it's time for you to go. We can't have people like that on the team, in my opinion. Got to go. And he's the better of the two keepers, in my opinion. I don't think that's even close. But it's not worth the disruption to the team. So Ortega, of course, Akanji, Ake, Vardio, I'm good with. Lewis. The way they set it up was like on TV. I think it was set up as a 4-1-4-1. Of course, we knew Lewis was going to step into midfield, so it's kind of the 3-2-4-1. I was expecting KDB and Foden through the middle and Bernardo out wide on the right, and kind of switched that up and put Bernardo and KDB through the middle and pushed Foden right. So that was interesting to see. And then the other piece, I guess, and I kind of hinted at this earlier, was Savio on the left-hand side as opposed to his normal right-hand side. Now, I thought that was because Bernardo was going to be out on the right-hand side. And that wasn't the case. But again, a left-footed winger playing on the left side can probably be a little bit more direct now because he doesn't have to cut back into his right, or on the other side, cutting onto his left. I liked that, and I think it paid off. So I was good with the lineup.
Yeah, and very similar to this match against Everton. I'll just kind of talk about general topics and things that at least like stuck out to me, and wherever we go, we can go. And what stuck out most to me is naturally Bernardo Silva was the captain against Everton. KDB was the captain against Leicester City. I know captains is like a player thing, but both of those players needed to show up and show out. And if City are going to kind of dig out of this bad form, it's going to have to be players like KDB and Bernardo to do it. Bernardo, I will say in this match, he was flat as fuck, but I will acknowledge he ran himself ragged against Everton. He worked that match against Everton, that felt like old Bernardo. That felt like old Bernardo, the way that he was running around and giving his all. So I wasn't shocked to kind of see him a little flat today against Everton. And I was happy to see it. And even more happier to see KDB appeared to take the captaincy very seriously because he was great. Our press wasn't great. Our defensive transition when it comes to the midfield wasn't great, but we made it. And Pep even acknowledged, hey, Everton was better. We played much better against Everton, but that's kind of how the game goes. Yep. You don't have to play better. You just have to win the game.
And at this point, it's just getting across the line. It doesn't even matter. I don't care how pretty or unpretty it looks. Just get across the line with all 3 points. I don't even care at this point. I don't care how many goals we give up. Yes, clean sheets would be great, but I don't care if we get 3 points. So yes, I'm with you. We just got to figure out ways to win, and that's what people have always said, mark of a true champion is when you don't play well, you're still able to get those goals, or you're still able to win even when you don't play well. And that's what we wanted to see. So
the next biggest thing that stuck out to me before we can kind of dive into the goals and all that was the first half, which was arguably City's worst performing halves of the season. They had 51% of the possession. But in the second half, where they were killing it, they had 41% of the possession. City looked the most destructive, especially when McAtee came on, bringing the energy. They were making those long passes. They were stretching the defense. Like, especially with the players that we have. I know we have some like older players, but honestly, the Sterling, Sané, that destruction, the early Mahrez, that was when we had like old man Torre, Fernandinho, Silva. Like we had some older midfielders in there who would kind of, shut the ball down and then hit it out to one of their young dudes who would just run and do a lot of stuff. And maybe they'd hit it to a back pass to one of them who could finish. But we also had Aguero, one of the most lethal goal scorers in Premier League history, which we have a lot of pieces that could be very similar to then, now. And I'm hoping and wishing that Pep can just release you have stallions, you have just monsters on this pitch who Doku, Savinho, they want to eat people up. Like Haaland wants to receive the ball with space, potentially take people on. I just hope he takes something from this, or at least hopefully someone from the coaching staff can be like, hey, maybe have a little more fun with the guys.
Or at minimum, because we've seen where, you know what, I forget what match it was. We're gonna play Grealish through the middle, and he shined.
Yeah.
And then the very next match, you got him back out wide, and Bernardo, I think it was, playing through the middle. It's like, it's okay to switch it up and leave it there. You don't feel the need to go back to. But again, it's hard to tell a coach who is, I'm comfortable with this, I'm confident in this, I'm gonna keep doing what I do this way. This is how we play. The boom, boom, boom. But we saw today Savinho out on the left. He got a goal. He got an assist. Leave him out there. Leave him out there. And that doesn't mean you don't play Doku. That just means you play Doku on the right. I remember earlier in the season, they asked to switch because Pep was playing, and then they were like, no, can we switch? And I think that they maybe even did it on their own because like, this isn't working for us. Let's switch it up. I think we need to see, even if you want to move them back to the right or to the inverted at times throughout the match, but give them a little bit of a go on their strong foot and let them really, really just eat, because they're ready, man. They want to eat, but sometimes I feel like we kind of hold them back a little bit.
1,000%. I'm not gonna lie, but I saw that bald loser. Sorry, I don't want to say that because I'm talking about Michael Oliver. So like the phrase technically works, but I don't want to shame bald people because we have famously an amazing one.
He's
on
a
our
loser.
Squad.
You said bald loser, right? So he's a loser who just so happens to be bald.
Thank
it's not
you.
because he's
There we
bald
go.
that he's a loser.
There we go.
He's a loser,
There we
period. He just so
There we
happens to be bald.
Thank you. And I'm not gonna lie, when I saw that, I definitely was a little stressed. I was very stressed whenever I see Michael Oliver. It's just like, oh god, anything is possible. But we recently, and I'm watching City. Oh, sorry, go for it.
Oh no, you were gonna say something. I was gonna ask you about McAtee, because you talked about him coming on and doing really well and bringing some energy, so on and so forth. And I asked this on another stream earlier today. Why do you think McAtee played today? Because he's always been available, and very seldom does he play. He played today, but there was still a Doku on the bench. There was still a Grealish on the bench. Maybe you can say they're not 100%. I don't know. But what was it about today that Pep, I'm going to say, bit the bullet? Because I kind of feel like it was almost reluctant, because he hasn't played him all this time. So I feel like he had to reluctantly do it. And I've seen the quotes and all that. Why today? And if you tell me it's because, well, it's Leicester, they're relegation fodder. He didn't play him against Everton.
No, it was Phil Foden was shit. He was not good. He was not good. He didn't care, and I think Pep was being like, "Sit your tail down. Let's watch this young dude who's gonna hustle, who's gonna press, who's gonna run his little heart out, and he's gonna do what he can for the team. If you want to do this, do your thing." Like it felt very much like Rico Lewis 3 seasons ago. where you're just all of a sudden we're seeing Rico Lewis starting these matches, and it's just like, why is Rico Lewis starting these matches? And it just quickly, what we loved, it wasn't that he was doing everything right. It was just his energy. It was just his intensity, his sense of urgency, that every time he was on the ball, he played like it was his last. And Phil Foden used to play like that. He used to play with a sense of urgency, a joy. There was a point where Pep wanted him to slow down because he was just so fast and so like intense. And I don't even see Phil get out of second gear, honestly. Like it's kind of sad seeing him this season. And again, I understand he's going through some stuff, but bad play is bad play. So it's just like personal things and stuff like that just helps me not go too hard on him. But like,
I mean, I don't know what's going on with him. I've heard all those rumors, or at least that there's something going on, but I don't know what it is. So
exactly,
I mean, if you're not playing well at some point, you got to answer those questions. See, and I said this on this other stream, my fear or my concern is there have been rumors about McAtee potentially leaving, or us potentially using him as a make weight or whatever. You kind of got to play a player for people to say, yep, I'm interested, or yep, I'll take him, or whatever. I got to see what he can do. So I'm kind of concerned, was Pep today just being, I got to play him a few minutes just to get him in the shop window. And that's sad.
The shop window?
Yes.
Oh, you were saying that he's actually going to sell him.
I've got to play him because in the back of my mind, I might want to get rid of him. And so people have to see that he's not hurt. He can play. He can do what can he do? Show me something. Now, nobody else seemed to take that
also,
approach,
people
and that's
really
great.
Love McAtee. They really love McAtee.
We love everybody who doesn't play. When Ederson wasn't playing, we loved Ortega. But it's because you only see them in small spurts, and you don't make mistakes. So you don't get enough playing time to make mistakes. When we see you it's the backup quarterback. When you're the backup quarterback for the NFL team, you're the favorite player on the team because we want to see how he can do, but you're never going to see him, so it doesn't matter. When he gets in there and he throws 2 interceptions, you're like, wait, this dude is trash. That's why he's the backup quarterback. But you never know he was trash because he never plays.
Exactly.
But we yell at the starting quarterback, and it's like, why don't we play him? We got somebody else on the bench, because they're not good enough. So I guess to a certain extent, maybe people don't feel like, and maybe to your point, someone said, well, maybe it was just a matter of, look, if you don't play me, I'm leaving. We don't want you to leave. Okay, then play me. Fine, I'll play you. Maybe that's all it took. But again, I guess I just have a hard time understanding how that man could get basically no minutes all season. And then he gets almost 30 tonight. And maybe it's as simple as Phil's not playing well today. Go get Phil. But he's never played him. Jack Grealish is sitting right there. Ilkay Gundogan is sitting right there. But you went to something changed. Whether it was McAtee saying, I'm leaving. Well, no, we want you to stay. No, you don't, because you're not playing me. Well, I'll play you. Okay, well, show me. Maybe it's something as simple as that. The pessimist in me, the conspiracy theorist in me says, hey, you know what? I really do want Bruno G. I really do want what is somebody else? Baleba from whoever, right? And so I'll give you McAtee as a make weight. I don't know. I hope I'm wrong. I don't know if I am.
I mean, I'm not hating on it. I thought, so like the idea of, we've all seen the rumors that McAtee, if he's not going to get played, he wants to leave in January. So when you were like, all right, he's going to play him, I thought you were going to be like, to make him happy. When you said you did the swerve, I was like, oh, I didn't even think about that.
I mean, and it could be as simple as that. It could be just like, you know what, we really don't want you to leave, so I have to play you. But Pep has never played anybody he didn't want to play.
So what I will say
it's why Cole Palmer left, and maybe
Yeah.
we say he finally learned his lesson. I don't know.
No, Pep, he talked about it. He said, this has been such a terrible moment that I just didn't want to put that pressure on our young people. And that's why I think he was talking. That's why I think he subbed him off for Phil, because it felt like a shot. And he was like, I believe that to fix ourselves out of this situation, we need the older players. We need the veteran players to step up and do their thing. But if they're not going to, then obviously I need to play the people who I have not been playing. And the reason why McAtee is still here is because I have told Cheeky, I've told all the people, he has the ability to stay here. He has the quality to do what he's doing here. He went on this whole rant about basically just being like, McAtee was the leader of all of these young players who we have let go. McAtee
and who are all thriving.
Exactly. So he's like, I can't let him go because we let all these other players go, and he was the best of them. So it's not the fact that he has the quality. We know he has the quality. It's just, I don't want to put him in a shit situation. Like very similar to last week when he put Simpson Pusey on. That wasn't a great situation, and he handled himself decently, but there were definitely a couple of moments where you're like, oh, he's overwhelmed. And he should be. It's a lot. So yeah, I mean that was a great conversation though, because that's it. I was intrigued, especially when it was like 66 minutes. I was like, oh, because Pep hasn't been making the subs. He was even asked about playing Stones. He was like, they were like, hey Pep, Stones has his injury problems. Why would you play him knowing that he's injured? And he's just like, you don't have to. I don't have anybody. And then that's when he was like, hey, I want to put the pressure on our older players than our younger players. So yeah, it was a nice job of the journalists teaming up to kind of get that out of him, because it was nice. Yeah, Savio's goal though. We haven't even talked about the goals. Oh, Savio's goal, which was deflection.
Yeah, so it was the Foden shot.
Yes,
that was parried out by the keeper, and Savio's crashing the back post, running at the goal, and
almost
able to take it on his left foot, put it in.
Almost skied it.
Maybe, yeah. So you thought he almost skied it? I guess maybe. I mean, I felt like he took it with some conviction, but yeah, I mean, if he misses it, that'd be tough, especially when you've not been in a good goal scoring form. Yeah, so fair.
And again, I guess it could just be
you're so used to seeing it.
Yeah, seeing him sky, because even when it went in, it hit like the top most of the goal when it went in. So it's just like, but luckily it also was a tough angle and all that stuff. He was just so close.
I thought it was gonna, just in real time, I didn't think he was gonna score because the angle was so tight.
It was crazy. Yeah.
But hey, he was able to put it in.
Vamos, and he did the baby celebration, which all of our other players who have done that celebration was them announcing that they had a baby. I'm not sure if that's just what he was doing. Maybe it's just because it was his first goal as a City player. So I just think that maybe the goal.
I thought I saw that him and his lady friend are expecting.
Yeah. Okay,
I think so.
Good.
I'm pretty sure I saw that.
Yeah, because every player who has done that this year so far has announced that they have a baby coming. So that's why that's what, like the fifth City player this season that either is expecting a baby or just recently had a baby. Like it's happening.
When you have kids, you don't really get a lot of sleep when they're not sleeping through the night. There's a lot of sleepless nights. So maybe that's what our problem is. We got too many. We celebrated. We celebrated a little too hard. Now we're having a bunch of babies, and now we're not sleeping. And yeah.
bros, if that's true, y'all can afford a fucking nanny. Get a little night nurse who can sit there with a baby and
When the
rock it back
baby's
to
up
sleep.
crying at night, you gotta. Everybody wakes up, and I don't know.
Or also, like, respectfully, before I say this like wild ass thing,
Don't say it. Don't say it.
Isn't that what wags are for? I'm just saying.
I knew you were gonna say something like that. I tried. Listen to our listeners, especially our female listeners. I tried to tell him not to do it. I knew where he was gonna go. I told him it was a bad idea. He doesn't listen to me. I support you.
I'm just saying, they're just hanging
I
out
support
being
you.
beautiful. Like, go hang out with your baby. Go hang out with your baby. Like, it's crying. Let Doku get some sleep. Let Savio get some sleep. Let these players get some sleep, bro.
God help us.
Oh,
do not post that in the reviews that you leave on Good Pods and all those different places. Don't comment on that. Just let that go, please. I'm begging.
Okay, so don't clip it up for social media. Deal.
Oh, I'm talking to our listeners who
I know.
Are like, oh, you want to comment? I'll comment. No. Hold on, slow down. That's just
Hey, we said all kinds of other great things that you could talk about. Do not focus on that.
If you give us 5 stars,
yes,
and then you leave us that comment, it's okay. We'll take it.
Oh, I love it. Hey, you give us 5 stars, you can be as rude as you want to.
Leave it.
Oh man. And then the 74th minute goal, it was just unfortunate that it took that long. Well, I just felt like the longer it was taking, the better the chance that Leicester were going to score, because it really did feel like Jamie Vardy was getting closer and closer and closer. What I will say, and this is hate for Leicester, once I saw they made the sub, they brought on Hamza Chidori, I was like, oh yeah, no, we're good. There are just certain players on certain teams, and I do it all the time, where I'm just like, oh yeah, no, I don't need to worry about them. Once they come on, we're either good defensively or we're good offensively. And he's a decent player. He had a high ceiling and just never met it. It kind of is what it is with him. So once he came on, I kind of knew what was going to happen. And sure enough, he came on in the 70th minute and City scored in the 74th minute.
74th, yep.
And my oh my, what a goal. Like, Holland getting a goal. That was exciting, and that was great. Even when he scored, he just kind of just stood there with a little smile. I felt that was the most endearing he's felt, because he's always just this like giant Viking who, he wears the mouth tape and he like eats livers and kidneys raw, and he's this like wild dude who you kind of feel is like this killer cyborg. And with the struggle and everything, he's feeling it. You could just kind of see it. All of the just weight just melting off of him while he was just kind of like smiling and just staring at his teammates.
The thing that was endearing to me, yes, the humility, because you could see it wasn't like I'm all that. It was a little bit of, I'm just so glad I got that goal.
Yeah.
But then he made a point to go to Savio and big him up, because Savio creates that with the ball in, right? And I think it's also Holland saying, thank you, somebody who's willing to just play me, play me in like that. Because Doku on the other side doesn't play that lofted ball most of the time. He's like pinging a fired ball across, and so and we've seen Holland get to those in the past, but we haven't seen it recently. And so people feel like, well, he and Doku don't play well together because they seem to be out of sync. When Holland's moving to the 6 yard to the spot to get a cutback, Doku's firing across the face of goal. When Holland says, okay, I'm going to race to the back post, Doku's cutting it back. They're like completely out of sync. And so people are like, oh, well, they just don't play well together. I don't know if that's that or not, but just trying to, to see him, again, I felt not that I'm trying to show anybody up or anything like that, but just to say, thank you for playing me like this. Thank you for playing the ball to me. Thank you for creating for me. Because he's not. It came off a header. Put the ball up there. Let me go get it. I'm the biggest dude on the pitch. Let me go get it.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I needed this win so bad. I know everybody needed this win, but the final whistle blew. My mom, I mean, she's seen me. She's watched a few matches with me. She knows how stressed I am when I watch. But like when I say the final whistle blew, and I'm pretty sure I waited a good 5 seconds before I cheered. So I was still kind of waiting for something to happen. I don't know what would happen once the final whistle was blown, but I was just waiting for hijinks, shenanigans, maybe a player to fall down injured or something. I don't know, but I waited, and then I just lost it. I stood up and gave a standing ovation. I was just like, yes, thank you. I needed this. I don't like that for the last. It's legitimately been 2 months. October 26th. Fucking Mariah Carey. Ever since then, I just haven't been as hopeful and I guess expecting is a negative word because you should never expect wins. But the way that they were playing wasn't what we have seen even over the last 7 years, 8 years. It felt very first season of Pep. And a lot of the records they were breaking were, Mark Hughes' first year Pep records. It was very stressful to be feeling this. These were legitimately feelings I hadn't felt in a very long time as a City fan. So to be back in a place where even when Leicester kind of were attacking and they seemed a little dangerous, I wasn't too stressed. And seeing players come on and McAtee clashing into what's his name in Leicester City's Samare. At first I was worried because I was like, that looks like that's how he injures himself. And then I saw it a second time. I was like, oh, he was just dumb because he just was running and then all of a sudden clashed into him. But it was just a dude who is he's moving at 100 miles per hour. That's what probably Pep told him. Bro, I need you to run your heart out. I need to see something from you. And even better, 92 minutes left, 90 minutes, 2 minutes into the extra time of the 5-6 minutes. McAtee gets the ball on a break, and we saw against Feyenoord, him and KDB together were just spamming crosses in and helped facilitate that comeback for Feyenoord. We saw against United players refusing to just kick the ball away and fight to figure it out. And this time, he took the ball. He could have kept running. He could have tried to make something and get a third goal, but he didn't. He turned around and recycled the ball. And I've never been so excited to see somebody recycle the ball. I was, oh my goodness. And again, that's what's going to help him play more. Pep seeing him be like, oh, he's thinking. Oh, time management. Oh, there we go. You might be 2021, but you're playing like a veteran. That's what I need on this team that very badly has to make the right decision over and over again until they get their confidence back, and it's just muscle memory back. Yeah. Anything else in this match?
Nah. Let's get to this preview.
Yes. Saturday, Man City welcome West Ham, who's sitting 13th place. The only thing that I'm interested in when it comes to this is if we haven't announced Kudus to City, because he is one of the many names that have been linked to City. I think he has now become more probable than Bruno G, just because Newcastle kind of seem to be cooking again, whereas West Ham, they just look off it, and West Ham already knows they are going to lose Kudus. Like basically, it was all known that after this year, Kudus is leaving. The hope was that they could get a European competition and might be able to sell him on staying 1-2 more seasons with a stupid pay raise. That's not happening. They're horrendous. Kudus come to City.
Really quickly.
Yeah.
I just read, where did it go? It's not I can just, okay. West Ham United have set an asking price of £100 million for midfielder Mohamed Kudus to try and fend off interest from Arsenal and Manchester City in January. There's no way we're paying $100 million, right?
No, the Tommy, I respect him, and he is one of the few in the knows that I actually very much respect what he says. Obviously, with all in the knows, you have to take what they say with a grain of salt. But his people had told him they are willing to spend on a person. Kudus is the type of person.
Okay, go ahead.
He is. No, he is. He's got the quality. He would bring it to City. What I would worry about is he very obviously just wants to go to a top club. I don't think he has a preference, a loyalty. I'm not. And in this modern time of sport, you really shouldn't expect that. But I don't want us to go to mercenaries. I think, and that's kind of what Kudus would feel like, is a mercenary. He'd be a very talented mercenary, but almost like, and also we spent $100 million on Grealish, and we saw how that happened. So I'm just worried about spending $100 million on a player, because you never know what will happen. But if there's anyone who would give us the bang for the buck, I would like to believe it's Mohamed Kudus, because he's going to come on and he's going to be intense. He's going to run at players. He's going to try to make things going. That practice is going to be magnetic. It's going to be, sparks are going to be flying. And that's kind of what we need. We need a player who's going to come in who believes they should be starting at a top club. We can't be bringing like the whole like Liam Delap. I like the idea, but we legitimately let him go for what? 2 million, 5 million? It wasn't much. And now we're going to have to pay 30 million back for a player we just gave you. Like, not only is that bad business, it's just a bad look. I don't know. There's just certain things and then also it's pressure, because now he needs to come back and play well to make up.
Well, if Liam Delap comes back, he's playing cup games, coming off the bench maybe to give Haaland a spell. But do we really think is Pep going to be willing to make that swap? Is to put him on and take Haaland off? I don't know.
And that's the problem, though. We can't be bringing anybody in who can't start a match. I don't think we need to be bringing in.
I think he could, but I just don't. Again, I feel like Pep is loyal to a fault.
Yes.
Which is why we're in the boat that we are in, because Gundo came back. I gotta play him. KDB, gotta play him. Grealish, gotta play him. The back line, gotta play him. Why do we have to play an injured Ake or an injured Stones instead of playing a Shemai Simpson-Pusey? And I know you told me why, but in my opinion, it comes down to, I've been in battle with these senior players. I trust them. I'm going to keep playing them. They've delivered for before. I'm going to just assume that they're going to deliver again without taking into consideration that they are 1, 2, 3, maybe even 4 years older now at this point. Mm-hmm. They're not the same players. And at some point, we got to give other people a chance. So I think we've seen Delap thrive in let's just be fair, a poor Ipswich side. We've seen the physicality, we've seen the ability on the ball, we've seen all of those things from him. So I think he could do it, but if he comes to us and he doesn't, this doesn't matter because we've got Holland, right? So it doesn't really matter. But if he came to us and we didn't have a Holland and he didn't score for 4 matches, people be up in arms. Well, we got to go get a new striker. And again, he's going to be streaky. He's young. He's whatever. But I just don't think he's going to come back because again, he's playing pretty much week in, week out.
Yes.
There's nothing better than that.
Okay.
Kudus, I'm looking at, is 24 years old.
Yeah.
His birthday is in August, so not too long ago turned 24. Fatmob has his market value at 53 million pounds. So that's a lot of overhead to be paying if he's worth 53 and we're going to pay 100, or they're setting it at 100. They don't really expect to get 100. They're just starting it there so they can argue it down. But yeah, that's a big discrepancy there.
Like, Mans is leaving either way, and like I get you want to keep him because without him, like McAtee's not doing it for you. Like, you guys are low key, very relegation vibes. Like, I'm sorry, West Ham have been pathetic. Like 2 seasons ago, there are a couple of us who thought they could be like top 6, top 7, and to see where they are now is just like, bro, what are y'all? What's going on with y'all? Yeah, I think they win. I think we beat West Ham. It is home at the Etihad. I don't know. I just feel like this is the change that they need. It's an entire week off. We should have more players back, or at least more players who can play more minutes. Yeah, and also it's just we can't be losing anymore. Especially with Club Brugge and PSG coming up. And just with those games coming up, we need to be in a positive run of games.
I'm trying to take a look here. I was told that Bowen came off injured today.
Ooh, that's good. I mean,
I know what you mean. It sucks as an individual for individual players or whatever. You don't want to ever see anybody get hurt, especially if it's a long-term injury. But from the standpoint of us needing a win, that helps, right? Because we know we are susceptible to the counter. Bowen is a pacey and at times clinical player, so not having him to line up against this can only help. They got blasted against Liverpool 5-0. I don't think we do that just because I don't think, one, we're as clinical up top. We haven't been this season thus far. And we're leaky. So I will say, well, I think we win it. But I think it's nervy. I'm going to say we win it. I'm going to go and say 3-1. I was going to say 2-1. I'm going to say 3-1. That's maybe not as nervy as I was thinking at first. I was going to say 2-1 at first.
Yeah, and I would love that. I could see it 2-1. I'd love a 3-1. Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Yeah. I think if we get the first goal and the floodgates open, we can run it up.
Yeah.
But if they score first, I do not feel good about that.
Yeah, and it will. West Ham, they were unbeaten in the last 4, but then got smacked by Liverpool. So it will be interesting. Will Lopetegui set them? Because he's not really the type to change how he plays. So I will be intrigued to see, will he make them be a little more timid, or will they come at us, which will potentially leave them open to get smashed, which City could use. So, like, after the win, after 2 games just drawing, and then we got the win, it would be great to see them handle business. And normally, I would be like, well, let's keep this moving because I haven't been participating because City have been so shit. I really couldn't enjoy going at another club. But now that City have won, it's time for me to throw some tomatoes at a club trying to ruin my joy. Barcelona, you broke ass bitches. Hoe asses are trying to sell the rights to VIP section of their Camp Nou when it's finished. A 20-year deal for upwards of 120 million euros, which would help them register Dani Olmo, who potentially could be a free agent in 2 days, whose agent was vacationing in Manchester during December. What? So like the things we could potentially get him, and he'd be great, and he'd be free, which would be great. That we could put that money towards a Bruno G. And if you get a free player in, you are more willing to spend 100 million plus on a player. We'll find out if it's true. But it's just like, bro, how many more levers are you going to pull? Once Camp finally opens up, will Barcelona even own the club? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, there's if you're a Barca fan, I'm sure you appreciate them doing anything and everything to get players registered and all this. I just don't understand how they have so many different levers that they can pull. And I guess how it is. So when you talk about um, PSR and financial fair play and all these things, right? It's all about the financial stability and success of the club, right? If they are effectively mortgaging and leveraging future earnings and future rights and future whatever in order to pay bills today, it only just pushes this down the road at some point. At some point, the money, you won't have any other levers to pull. And you'll have, well, we won't get any money for the next 20 years and we're going to be stuck. They've got to make really tough decisions. And the reality is, some of it, I don't know when, I can go look it up, but I don't know when, say, a Frankie Dion, you're paying him an arm and a leg. When does his contract end? You got to get it from under that. You got to get these players off your books so that you can bring in players that you want. But it just amazes me how they are allowed to do things that no one else has done, and that's just crazy to me. You're making a face. So is that because of
He's
when
there
his
until
contract ends?
2026.
Yeah.
2026.
So
He's locked in.
Yeah. So I know it was Andreas Christensen that was long-term injury, and so they were able to register him on an emergency situation or register almost on an emergency situation. But now that Christensen is back, he's no longer available. Can you get rid of Christensen? Can you find someone to get rid of to free that space up? How much money do you need to actually bring in to be able to? Because again, at one point, I think it was like they could only spend, I think it was like 1/4 of whatever they brought in or something. They said bring in like 100 million to be able to spend 25 or some foolishness like that, right?
Wow.
Again, their future is so far mortgaged that I don't understand how they have any long-term success. It's just a matter of time before it all catches up. They've got to start going deep in winning uh, the league and Champions League because they need all the revenues. They need all of it, and if they don't get it, they're going to continue to struggle.
Yeah. What about you? You got anybody?
I don't know, man. Not really. I guess kudos to Manchester United because they make me feel like everything's going to be okay. We're crap, but everything's going to be okay. Because even in our worst form ever, we are still 9 points ahead of them. If they can't catch us when we can't win a game, I think I saw 23 points behind Liverpool, who they claim to be their biggest rival. I guess, if I can't, and today changes that, right? Because we got to win. So I guess I can celebrate City. But I was going to say, if I can't celebrate City's victories, I can always celebrate United's losses and United's pain. It's Schadenfreude or whatever that word is, however they pronounce it.
Yes.
But, I can always celebrate them sucking worse than us. And I'm okay with that.
Let's go. Hey, and we are always here to laugh at United. All right. Well, this is a wonderful conversation. This is nice. It was. I wasn't sure where this is gonna go because, like I said, there was plenty to talk about, but also it wouldn't surprise me if we just kind of kept it moving. So this was nice. We have plenty of shows for you. Lit Stream is back this Thursday. Check out all the other things. I'll be posting about it very soon. By the time this episode is out, check our social medias. You'll know what shows we have coming up. Tarik, let people know where they can find you and the things that you do.
Mohamed Kudus has a deal with Skechers. Does that change how you feel about him?
No,
right.
because
you can find me. Go ahead.
I'm just gonna say because Skechers they put the bag out for a few people, so like I can't hate them for getting the bag. It does. He's definitely not worth $100 million. You better not pay $100 million for a dude who has a Skechers still. Like,
I think that's isn't who is
Harry Kane.
Harry Kane with Skechers. I think he's an old man. So, and again, I say that as someone who is well older than him. But anyway, you can find me on Blue Sky, man. If y'all listening out there, jump on Blue Sky. Stop wasting your time over there on that other site. Just jump over to Blue Sky. Hit us up over there at Tarik Peterson on Blue Sky.
Yes, ma'am.
You'll find us over there.
Yes, ma'am. And follow anything that we do at Shades of Blue NW. If you type in Shades of Blue NW, you'll find us because we're on Blue Sky, shadesofbluenw.com, YouTube, other apps. Find us. We will be here for you soon. Until then, you know the vibes. Shady gang, shady gang, shady gang.